Twitch was trending worldwide, I think, yesterday with 430,000+ tweets. For
Yikes.
various and when you see that, when Twitch is trending that big, it's usually not like a positive thing. It's usually something has caught fire somewhere, and now everyone's talking about it. And that was the case again, unfortunately, this week for a couple of different reasons. But the chief reason was at first was because Twitch decided to, I guess. Well, I don't even, do you call this doubling or tripling down at this point on being the word police, I guess is what you could call this. If there was a Team America theme song at this point, this would be the place to have it for Twitch. They've decided, and they did it on their Twitch stream update thing that they do, whatever they call it, the community update or whatever the fuck they do, where they sit down, and they had the COO on, and the community head as well on discussing these things, and they got to a point where they were discussing the use of some words in terms of the greater overarching topic of harassment on the platform, which was also a thing that popped up last week on the podcast. So the 3 new words that are now within now in fairness to them, they're saying that this is a case in somewhat vague terms, case-by-case scenario where the context is supposed to matter to some degree, where it's these 3 words: virgin, simp, and incel. I'm
gonna be. I might actually sound stupid here.
Okay.
All right, and it's a little embarrassing, and here's the thing.
Jeff, we're boomers. If you don't know what one of these words mean, don't worry about it.
Thank
we're
you.
Old.
I don't know what incel is. I know what the other 2 are, but I don't know what incel is.
All right, so
what is that?
Incel is involuntary celibate. It's a shortened conjunction.
So basically, like you're a virgin.
You're a virgin,
Again.
but not by choice. Like incelibate, involuntary. So basically, you are for whatever reason, physical appearance, or you're just the most abrasive cunt in the world, and so nobody wants to sleep with you. You're an involuntary celibate.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think I've heard that one thrown around very often.
Not on Twitch. That's more of like a social media thing in general. Incel was a really, really aggressively used word for like a lot of last year and a lot of the early part of this year. I haven't seen it thrown around nearly as much. Simp kind of came up and overtook it, even though they're 2 like totally different concepts. The internet. They don't like nuance. They just want like one word to fucking cover all their bases. So simp kind of like came in. So it's weird. So virgin got like as a negative connotation, like when you're calling somebody a virgin, got replaced with like incel, because now that's even worse. It's like not only are you a virgin, but even if you wanted to get laid, you can't. And then simp, which is a totally different fucking concept, but it ended up eclipsing everything anyway and became like meme culture.
What about cuck? Like I've heard cuck like so much.
Unfortunately, I've got that in my own vocabulary now, and I don't even like it. Whenever I say it, I feel dirty, but like I can't, like my brain just like spits it out sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so they got rid of what? They got rid of the ability to say that within context, so that you're not, harassing somebody or putting people down.
If you're playing some games with the boys, Call of Duty, and you're like, and somebody's talking about how, I don't know, they were watching Pokemon or some shit in their off time, and then one of the boys are like, "Oh, you fucking simp."
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's a paddling.
I think that comes into effect on the 22nd, they said? 21st, 22nd?
Just in time for Christmas. No more Christmas simping. You're not allowed to be Simpa Claus this year. You've got to back off on that. And this is silly for a number of reasons, but okay, so the first thing that I saw when this went up was mostly women saying this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in regards to stuff like simp. A lot of people have just taken it on. It's like a meme. It's a joke. Nobody really, if somebody calls somebody a simp, nobody's really taken that much offense to being called a simp. It's kind of like remember growing up, some of the stupid shit that some of like the like what we call the harder individuals in high school would throw around as fucking terms, and like you couldn't take the shit seriously. I had one of the fucking like
You fucking muffin?
yes, that exact fucking word.
You're a fucking muffin.
You fucking. Do you remember you were with me that day?
Yes.
We were walking to Subway, and one of the guys that are part of like the gangs here that we grew up with, one of the few legitimate gangsters that we went to school with. And we were walking to Subway and we're off school property, and him and a couple of dudes were, I don't know if they were probably smoking a fucking blunt or some shit off school property or something. I can't remember the specifics of what they were doing, but they were standing in the pathway, and I literally, just the briefest of glances in their direction as we're walking by. Not like a weird elevator stare or some shit, or like or staring them down or giving them the dirty eye. We're like walking to fucking Subway at lunchtime, and this guy, who no joke, if he wasn't part of a gang, is literally about 4'5", 205 grams soaking wet, looks at me and goes, "The fuck you looking at, you fucking muffin?" And like my immediate I had to check myself, because I was like, I didn't want to laugh because then I'm just going to be causing shit. But internally I was like, am I supposed to take that seriously? If you call me a muffin, am I supposed to feel threatened or feel like I'm a lesser human being because you called me a confectionery item? I don't understand what that means, and to this day, I still don't know what the fuck muffin is supposed to mean. Maybe it meant that I was like supposed to be soft. Call me a marshmallow.
Exactly. It's a thing like, you know, you're like you're a little muffin. You're soft. You're non-threatening.
Fucking weird.
Yeah. So
which again is odd because I literally tripled his size.
Yeah. But you weren't hard, Adam.
But I wasn't hard.
You weren't hard.
And you know the hardest place on earth, Jeff? Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Gangsta.
The boroughs of Halifax, Nova Scotia. Anyway, all that being said, this shit's all fucking weird to me. I like, you know what's gonna happen? Everything else that happens, like when they did this in schools, for example, growing up, all the same, and I don't mean like that in situation, but when teachers or the school would ban certain things, all that happens is the words get replaced
with other words.
With other fucking words that mean the same thing.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, you just have to say, all right, look, you know what Twitch needs to do? Less time trying to play the police and more time leading by example and just creating a culture that espouses the values they're hoping people do, instead of trying to ram it down their throats with policy. Because right now, Twitch is unfortunately going up against their own fuckery for so long, like the tri-hex emote being freely used as a clearly racial fucking thing for years, where they stated very definitively that they did not feel that that was an issue and that they did not want to police that kind of shit. The hordes of harassment cases that just go like unanswered by female streamers sending in whether they're partners or not, to Twitch with evidence and stuff of legitimate, honest-to-God harassment, and Twitch just going, sorry, but you know what Twitch does have time for, Jeff? Putting a lockdown on the words like simp, virgin, and incel. Damn it, that's going to solve all the problems right there. With or without context, this is silly to me. I mean, at that point, you don't need to like call these words out. You've already said it. They already said it the other week. You know, we're looking now at harassment on and off the platform on a case-by-case basis. It should be, to most people, relatively easily apparent what is and what is not harassment. Most of the cases being brought to them that are serious come with very readily available information for this shit. But locking in on words like this is just friggin' weird to me. And I don't think it will be effective. I think it will probably, if anything, they've just drawn attention to these words, and they're probably just gonna be fucking all over the place. Like, people are just gonna be like memeing the fuck out of this. You know, my thing was, what are the two letters directly next to I on a keyboard? U and O. It's gonna be sump and somp all over Twitch chats everywhere. Can't say simp, but I can say somp. I'm simping. Pepe. Insert random Pepe fucking emote. So, Twitch going about their thing, doing their thing, it ain't going to accomplish anything. And once again, fuck. Next up, in more positive news for Twitch. They actually announced that the tools that everyone's been asking for nearly 7 years now, VOD tools for managing said VODs are actually finally going to be rolling out here relatively soon. For things like unpublishing a VOD, or batch unpublishing VODs so that they're not publicly visible, or deleting, or batch deleting, or sorting by date, or view count, for example. Very, very complex, complicated things that have taken a very long time to roll in. But thankfully, and they have gotten around to doing it, and we're going to have these tools available to us now, and that's a good thing. So, shout outs to Twitch for finally getting those tools in the hands of people. I gotta say, I'm a big simp for those who are actually working on these tools. And while I'm not necessarily a virgin, some people would probably call me an incel.